let me introduce Petroula. You know Petroula well. So Petroula, today, what is on the menu?
It's the business model canvas.
It's the business. Okay.
Yes. Shall we start?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Good to see you again. And it's going to be the last time for this year, and that you're going to be spending my Monday here with you. We're going to talk today about the business model canvas and why is that important. Has anybody ever heard of any of these words? Business model, business canvas, anything? Yeah?
Yes.
Sorry?
The canvas.
The canvas. Anyone with drawing? Yeah, business model, maybe επιχειρηματικό μοντέλο. And you may be wondering why. Why is this necessary for us today? Why is this necessary or valuable for us in general? First of all, it's helping you in your last part of your deliverable, in your implementation phase, in the design thinking challenge that we work on, because some of the questions that you are looking to answer at this point of time are part of a business model canvas. Second, why not? You know, like I'm of the opinion that every new thing that we learn makes us better and differentiates us from other people. So amongst a class of 300 computer scientists, every different thing that you learn is an asset to your background, and it makes you different compared to the others. And the last reason is because also what your professor just said. It will be a lot of times that you and your friends, your colleagues, the people that you work with or you study with will have an idea about something amazing, but you're going to be like, okay, how do we actually go and talk about this to someone who is an expert or to a potential investor or someone that could be a potential mentor? What do we need to prepare? What are the answers that we need to have beforehand in order to be ready for that meeting? So this is also something that helps you if you are to create a new business, if you are in the mode of being an entrepreneur, as we call it, or if you want to put an idea into practice, which could be a solution, which could be something that you work on during your study years, could be an idea for an application, could be an idea for a new software, anything. By learning that, it doesn't mean that you become experts in business or business modeling, etc. And it doesn't mean that it is also something that you just learn in a 2-hour session and then you can apply it in perfection. As with everything, which you also know from your studies, but also especially in business, a lot of things happen and you learn them in practice, like when you actually test them. Because business is a social science, so only when you actually apply something, you see if it's working. Very few % of the business models or the business plans that take place actually manage to get implemented 100% and achieved. So, what is a business? Let's start by that. There's a lot of misconceptions sometimes about what is a business. That it is an organization that is there to produce profits, that has a product, as it says, or has a good or a service, or retails or resells products or services that other organizations produce, there to create a profit, to achieve maximum profits. That's not a business. That's not only a business, actually. A not-for-profit is also a business. Or a university is also a business. A not-for-profit doesn't mean that it's not there to have revenues and cover its costs. It means, how it allocates profits as soon as it generates them. So a business is an organization that has an activity, a product like this, or a service like consulting or training, or retails products that other organizations produce. Okay. And it can be a for-profit entity, as it says, or a not-for-profit organization. Society is a business. University, again, is a business. Public university is a business. So when they say business, you should be out of the universities, that's totally wrong, also, by the way. So why are business understanding skills valuable? First of all, businesses are everywhere, like from the things that we buy in our everyday lives to when we work in a company, to our everyday lives as consumers, as professionals, anything. So at some point of your life, you will need to work for or with a business. You will start a business or you will work in someone else's business, but you will have to have some sort of a relationship with that. Now, when you understand how business functions work, then it helps you also to design better solutions and approaches for that organization that you work for. You may have heard that when you're a computer scientist, it's really important to actually understand your client, understand the business that you're in, understand the value that your client wants to bring with the product that you're trying to help them design and produce. So understanding the business and the character, the marketing that it wants to have, it actually makes you better in your work as IT experts. You understand in practice terms like marketing, international relations, business development, accounting, blah, 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 blah. Again, you don't become an expert, but if somebody tells you we have a profit of, I don't know, 1 million, it means that you understand that your revenues are more than your costs by 1 million. Unless you change career and you go into something else, you will not be asked to understand a budget or a cash flow in more detail than that. But it is important to know if your product, for example, that you're designing, your IT product, is sustainable, if it generates the revenues that you need to cover costs, etc. This will be necessary for you when you start going higher and higher in the roles that you will have in your career. And business also is a social science. In the end, as I said, it has to do with the people, the systems, and the organizations that it is applied to. Management and business have a lot of theories about how things should work, and in theory, they work in some percentage. But as we have to do with people, nothing is actually going to work 100% as you have planned. This is something like an assumption that you make from the beginning when you start working on that. And what is a business model? What is a business model? The business model actually shows us how an organization, how a business, for-profit, not-for-profit, generates revenue and how it needs to organize itself in order to be sustainable, in order to work properly, be sustainable, and be scalable. It also helps us to see what makes us different from other organizations, what makes, for example, Ryanair different than EasyJet. That's part of their business model. It helps you also to see what are the factors that will actually help you to generate the revenues that you need. Where are your money, where is your money going to come from, and where are you going to spend them? So it organizes a little bit all the things that an organization should think of before starting an operation. A business model is also never final. As in design thinking, where we say we're always on beta, we're always trying, testing, taking the feedback from the clients, from the customers, or from the experts, and seeing how we're going to iterate our product. This is how a business model also works. At some point, you will need to change something that you put down like a year ago. However, when we say that a business model is changing fundamentally, it means that an organization changes either its customers, says, we're not going to go to 25 to 30-year-old, but we're going to focus on 40 to 60-year-old people right now. And we're not going to have our revenues from that product. We're going to switch to another one. For example, an organization that has changed its needs. I haven't thought about it. For example, an organization that used to do internships, an NGO, not-for-profit organization, used to do it for students to work abroad. As they saw that there's not so many placements for internships now, they changed into into voluntary placements, which is something that especially young people from 18 to 30 really want to do. When they finish university, they want to go and work in for example, volunteer for, and find that even more interesting than going into a huge corporation and work for a month or two. And they saw that because they saw that young people nowadays, they want to offer something back to the society. So based on that, they changed their business model and they say, we cannot get enough customers and money, of course, from that direction. So let's try and answer to the need that we now see externally. That there is these young people that they want to actually volunteer somewhere in the other side of the world. We see also other organizations that have changed their business model recently, but that are switching to that or have challenged existing business models. Like an example of that is Ryanair. You know Ryanair, of course, and their cheap flights. They're the ones, and EasyJet, they were the ones that first introduced you are going to pay for a few elements of your flight, but there's other ones that you're going to be paying extra, like your food, like if you want to reserve a seat. This challenged the whole business model of the industry and the whole way that it works. And the result of that is that now other airlines, mainstream airlines like Aegean or other ones, they tell you, if you want to have a suitcase extra. Otherwise, you just can bring your hand luggage with you. This change of the business model of the industry caused exactly because somebody said, our objective is to offer the cheapest flights that we can. And how can we do that? If we just ask for our customers to pay for the basic things. Okay, so why and when is a business model then necessary? As we said, when you're in the phase of when you're designing a new venture, a new organization, a new product, whether it is for profit or not, when you want to try and think of all the things that you want to answer before you pitch to a potential investor, or when you want to talk to a potential mentor about your business idea, and also when you want to think all the elements that make your product feasible, innovative, sustainable, and scalable. These are 4 words that are extremely important for a business model. We all understand feasible, if something is possible to be done within resources that we have. Whether it is innovative, and innovative is not new. For something to be innovative, it means, of course, that it is new, but it also that it needs to bring us forward into whatever we're doing so far. For example, if we stop using computers and we go back to life before computers, of course it's something new, but it's not innovative, So it needs to be something that brings us forward. Sustainable, and you may hear about that a lot from mentors and people that work with startups, etc. Make your business model sustainable. What does that mean? It means that you're at some point you reach at a situation where, of course, it means several things. For example, for starters, economic sustainability or financial sustainability. It means profit at some point of time. Your revenues cover your costs, and you reach a point where you have positive revenues. You have profits that are growing and growing and growing. It could be social sustainability, another term of it, which means that you produce a value to the society which is increasing. Also another side of sustainability, which is how do you make sure that you produce results that whose value maintain and stay in the society even after your organization leaves. And this is particularly important for social organizations. for example, they may run a program, and when they finish, there's nothing left. There's no change that has taken place. Like a lot of the fundraising that happened, for example, for homeless in Athens. I don't know if it's a problem here in Heraklion, homeless people.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a lot of activities that take place in order to take food and blankets, etc., for the homeless, which is very good. But when those organizations stop their activity, the problem remains. They don't bring a sustainable solution to actually. A scalability of your product. This is also a very important factor that a lot of us that start a business forget, or that when we do a business model, forget. We think that the passion and the energy that we will have at the beginning when we create something is going to be same level in the same amount 2 years down the line. When we need to run an organization which we predict that will have grown by 100 or 200%. So that is also not the case. When the business model needs to be scalable, which means that it needs to have the structure that it allows it to grow, and it allows it also to be managed in an efficient way. And when you create a business model that you say, okay, it's going to be based on me and my co-founder for the next 5 years, and I predict 500% growth, probably predict that you're going to be working 100 hours a day, so which is obviously not realistic. A business model is also necessary when you present your product for feedback or funding to potential investors or to mentors if you need their help on something. And as we said before, it is something that you always test, that you always learn from, and you always iterate. It is never something that stays as it is. A business model is not set to stone. You need to analyze it and see whatever is influencing it. So, what is the canvas then? As we said, the business model is something that helps you understand what the different elements of a business when you're trying to start something or you want to understand a business. A business model canvas then is just a tool. It's a tool that actually helps you to map these things down. It is a tool that was created a few years ago in the movement of a lean startup corporation, as a really lean startup methodology, let's say, which actually helps you understand what are the different elements that help you create a more efficient business, help you create a product that is valuable, a product that has that it works in a way that it, again, as we said before, it is.
What is the lean startup?
Startup methodology or template. It is a tool again that actually was in order to help them to create a business in the easiest way possible. It's how can you create a minimum viable product in the fastest way to go into the market. Tough words.
I think that's a very good tip, by the way, about viable product. If I get it right, it means that you have to produce some beta of your product and put it to the market or to your potential customers as early as possible, even if it doesn't have all the features yet. Sure. But it's good to be early on so that you can how they perceive what you produce and can adapt it on the way.
Exactly. Because a lot of times we get crazy by trying to prepare the perfect product to go out. But at the beginning you just need a prototype, as we did, or a minimum viable product in order to get the feedback and see what the client has to say about that. especially if you are like a perfectionist by nature. This is a characteristic that doesn't help a lot of entrepreneurs. You just need to say, this is good enough for now. We did the best that we could. Let's go and try and see at least if our idea works. Because a lot of times also people create the perfect product, the perfect model in their minds, and it stays there. It's only in their minds that it's perfect. When they actually go and try it, they see that there's no client for it. There's no one that is willing to pay the price that you have thought about that product. And testing is the only way to actually see if it works.
Lean startup is a fairly new and also. How new is this? Is the last?
Yes, it will be more than that. Yeah. Even less, I think. It's 6-7 years.
6-7 years.
Very new. It started with this whole wave around entrepreneurship. And I think all that started after the 2007 economic crisis, when people started, saying, okay, this system doesn't work as we know it and as we perceive it until now, so we need to start creating new things. I would say 2007, 2008 probably, but
The little I know about entrepreneurship and things like that, everybody talks about lean startup methodology.
Yeah, they refer to that. It's like it has become viral over the past years. And sometimes people talk about it also without knowing exactly what it means, because it's also, a trend, and it's a trendy word to use. But it would be useful to read at least the basics of that. We can send that through to you like a short description if somebody is interested. There's a book, of course, that has been published around that if someone is interested. So, what is the time, approximately? 10:50. Great. Okay. So, before the break, we're just going to have a look at 3 examples of business models, just to show you that this is the canvas. We are going to see in detail what it includes in the next part, in the second session. But this is to show you that it can be used for any kind of business, for profit, not for profit, from a lemonade stand to Facebook. So it has 9 elements. Have that picture in your mind for now. What each one of them is, we're going to see in so the revenue streams and the cost structure, which is something that you're familiar with. Customer, also it's something that is, The channels, maybe you've heard about them. What are the channels of communication or of sales of our product? And the other ones we're going to discuss them in a little bit, what exactly they mean. This is used for a lemonade stand. And why is that a business? Because it has an activity, and it has some cost, and it generates some revenue. It can have, a legal form, but it can also be, something that teenagers fundraise money for another purpose. A business model which was used for OpenIDEO. OpenIDEO is an online design thinking platform where there is a challenge set globally on a specific region, and then people from all over the world, they contribute with ideas and go through the process as you currently go through your class. So this is an idea or a challenge about how to create cheap, healthier food in the hard times, even when people are trying to save money, and then the junk food is the cheapest thing. So the question was, how might we create a cheaper, healthier food option for low budget? Started working with this business model canvas for low-income families. the last but not least, Facebook. This is a business model of Facebook. At least the latest one that I could find. What is interesting always in the business model is the value proposition. What makes something different than whatever is there outside already, whatever else is outside. What makes our business model or our business different, new, innovative compared to the competition. So Facebook, for example, connect with your friends, discover and learn, express yourself, reach to content, find and engage with it, and have some sort of personalized social experience. From what you know, Facebook, does it achieve all that? And the customers, the internet users, of course, the advertisers and the marketers, and of course the developers as well. These are the customers of Facebook. Ads, different applications that are in it. And if you see the revenue streams, one of the things that Zuckerberg perhaps thought when he was designing, he was like, I want this product to be free for everybody. This is my basic value, principle. So they said, we're not going to charge anyone for enjoying any of the services of the project. But if you are a business and you want to run an advertisement, then that's different. And this is how they came up with the ad revenue and the payment revenues that come through all the other applications that are attached to it. So understanding the business model of an organization that is already there helps us also to create our own when the time comes to create something for our own business, for our own business idea, or for our own venture. And this is something that we're going to try in the next hour. After we watch like a small training around how it is to generate a business model and what are the specific elements on it. Correct? Any questions so far? All right, okay, so let's go on a break. We'll come back in 10 minutes approximately. Let's resume. This is around 15 to 20 minutes. So, sit comfortably in your seat and note down things that you don't understand, that you don't agree with, anything, so that we'll discuss about them afterwards. All right? Okay. Ακούγεται καλά.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segment, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create revenue, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a...
Sorry. Το δυναμώσουμε λίγο και επανερχόμαστε. Εντάξει. Όχι. Ωραία. Present. Τώρα. Ωραία. Full screen. Α. Πάλι αυτό. Α, να το, οκ. Ναι. Τέλει. Κορίτσια, σημειώστε.
Θα κάνουμε ρητά όποια έχουμε για αυτό.
Ωραία.
organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
This is the story of Beth, her friend Carl, and an idea they believed could become a great business. It's the story of how they succeeded, and if you're an entrepreneur or anyone with a great idea, it could easily be your story too. But let's begin at the beginning. See, even if you have a great idea, success is far from assured. That's because for every great idea that has shaped our world, there are thousands of seemingly great ideas that have flopped. In order to succeed, a great business idea needs a great business model, and they're not the same thing. Once your idea meets the world, it will meet customers. If they don't care about the problem your idea solves for them, it's game over. But even if customers love your value proposition, you can fail if your business model is not scalable and financially sustainable. You'll need to find reliable channels to reach and acquire your customers. You'll need to build an infrastructure that won't collapse as your business begins to grow. Failing to do just one of these things can mean death to your business, however great your idea is. That's why your first work is to search for the right business model, to map this world of challenges so it can be tamed and organized, allowing you to explore it, manage it, and plan for it. What if there was a tool that could help you with this challenge, simply and visually? A tool that makes it easier to stress test your ideas, track your progress, and avoid breaking the bank along the way. What if it was possible to design and test business models in a way that gives your idea a better shot at rising to the level of the great businesses that are shaping our world? It is, and though the journey for these guys, and for you, won't be a walk in the park, all you'll need is your creativity, willingness to work, and passion for your idea. We'll give you the rest. This is the business model canvas. It's just what Beth and Carl will need to craft a powerful business model, and it can do the same for you. Let's dive in and see how it works. There are 9 essential building blocks that make up any business model. When you get all 9 blocks working together, you'll have answered the fundamental questions any business model must solve. We'll start here with customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. For For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. Channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the types of relationships you're establishing with your customers and how you're acquiring and retaining them. Pricing mechanisms through which your business model captures value are documented under revenue streams. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model, so you can describe the infrastructure you need to create, deliver, and capture value. The key activities show which things you need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. And once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. Any business model can be mapped this way: 9 building blocks working to reinforce and strengthen each other. But before you make a model for yourself, it helps to see what a breakthrough business model looks like in action, like this one. Low-cost airlines revolutionized air travel thanks to their disruptive business model. Let's first look at their value proposition. A low-cost airline offers ultra-cheap flights to their main customer segment, budget travelers, by adopting a no-frills policy. And this leads to additional revenue streams, because customers pay for their ticket and additional fees on items like food and drink, priority boarding, and luggage. The airlines save even more money through their choice of channels, selling only through call centers and the internet, making for efficient, if not always convenient, customer relationships that are automated and often impersonal. Okay, that covers the right side of the canvas, the part everyone can see. The left side of the canvas is what's going on backstage. Like their choice of key resources, they reduce maintenance and training costs by using a single aircraft model for the whole fleet. And they only fly to cheap airports where it's cost efficient to land or where they even get paid to touch down. Planes that do land have quick turnarounds, so they get back in the air earning money as quickly as possible. And they form key partnerships with others in the travel industry, like car rental, hotel, and insurance companies. Finally, under cost structures, all maintenance, training, airport, and call center costs are trimmed to their lowest levels. All of these pieces working together make their fares almost impossible for traditional airlines to compete with. There's nothing superior about these airlines except their business models. They're reaching an entirely new segment of travelers out of reach for traditional airlines. Cutting out costs is pretty exciting, right? But wait! Just because it's successful for discount airlines doesn't mean it will work for your idea. Luckily, the business model canvas allows you to iterate many models and test them quickly. Let's get started with your own business idea. You can think of a business model like a story of how your enterprise will create, deliver, and capture value. And like a story, it can be one you've heard over and over before. For instance, you can start with what most people are fixated on, the value proposition. Travel for retirees. Then decide whom you can sell it to. Yep, boomers. Sketch in how you'll get it to them. Okay, a website. And how that will generate revenue. Sure, sales fees. You'll make it easy and automated. Next, you figure out what key resources you need to offer all that, like a reliable website and brand recognition. Carl's thinking his key activities will be marketing, website, and maintenance. And then partners will do the booking. And finally, where your costs will come from. Sales, marketing, platform development, all that will cost you. There you go, your first model. But don't expect a medal or a breakthrough. Predictable models can work, but rarely give you a competitive advantage. So don't fall in love with your first idea. To compete in a world where the best model wins, you'll need to think harder and explore alternatives. For example, prototype a model where you give away your value proposition for free. This will instantly change everything. You might not find this model realistic, but exploring it will force you to think hard about potential alternatives. As an entrepreneur, you're thinking of your model 24/7. Now you have a tool to structure your ideas as quick prototypes to consider with your team. Who knows? You might wind up with a disruptive model that changes an entire industry, like Skype with its freemium model, or Nespresso, which became a multi-billion-dollar business by locking customers into purchasing high-margin espresso capsules. In fact, understanding innovative or simply successful business models in other industries can be a great place to start getting to your breakthrough. There's no right or wrong way to do it, just 3 rules to start with. First, focus on the business model, not just your product, technology, or service. Second, don't fall in love with your first models. The best models are built on clever, unexpected elements, and that comes from creating many less obvious versions. Which leads to the third rule. Iterate rapidly and test your models early, in the real world. How do you do that? Don't worry, guys. We're about to learn all about the real world beyond our canvas. Remember the chaos your idea faced before you made the canvas? Well, you've tamed some of it by mapping the elements that are mostly within your control. But the world out there is full of threats, constraints, and opportunities beyond your control. They create the environment in which you'll design and build your business model, and in which your business will fight for survival every day. Just because you can't control these factors doesn't mean you can't and shouldn't account for them in your model. Doing so will help prepare your model for threats, ready it for changing legal constraints, and prime it to jump on innovations. Let's see how mapping the environment will affect the Boomer travel agency model. On the right, you'll map market forces, everything related to the customer segments you've selected. Ask yourself, which other segments are there? Which ones are the most lucrative? Looks like Beth's discovered a segment of boomers with a range of disposable wealth. You could ask, which segments are growing, and what do they most want? And why might your customers resist? Okay, good. Boomers have trouble adapting to new technology. Now above your canvas, map key trends. Are new technologies about to undercut your value proposition or supercharge it? What regulations are coming up? How is society at large shifting? Right, Carl, rising medical costs could weigh heavily on your customers. Now to the left, map industry forces. Who are your main competitors? What advantages do their business models provide? Could they crush you? Your industry may already have a dominant competitor, but ask yourself, where are their weaknesses? Can you disrupt them? What might happen as suppliers and partners grow or don't? Better to know now that the travel field is crowded and volatile, right, Carl? Finally, below your canvas, map macroeconomic forces. How is the global economy doing? Markets may be in a state of rampant uncertainty. How available is capital? Venture capitalists may be taking few risks. How well is the infrastructure developed in the market you are doing business in? Sure, many boomers are experiencing a decline in living standards. Now you've mapped your environment, full of threats, opportunities, and constraints. What do? Use the map, of course, to make your business model more responsive. Looking at industry forces on the left side of your canvas, ask, does your model have a competitive edge today? Tomorrow? Good thinking, Beth. That dominant competitor could be a threat. Looking at key trends on the top of your canvas, ask, is your model prepared for emerging trends? Okay, if rising medical costs encourage overseas treatment, that could be an opportunity for your travel agency. On the right for market forces, is your model in line with evolving customer needs? Sure, if your customers are resistant to the internet, you're right to rethink delivery through a website. And below for macroeconomic forces, how will your model adjust to macroeconomic shifts? Yes, Beth. Unfortunately, travel is becoming a luxury that a growing number of your customers can't afford. But don't be overwhelmed by these elements. Asking and answering these questions will help make your business model better suited to its environment and that much more likely to succeed. Now you're ready to start testing your model in the real world.
Okay, we're gonna do a pause here.
All right.
You got some idea of what it is. Any questions? We're all experts now in business modeling. Tough. Okay, so we're gonna do an exercise just to understand whatever we've been talking about and listening to a little bit better. there's no expectation of being an expert right now. There are a few people that are experts, but that requires a lot of years of experience and a lot of working in different areas and different sectors. So we're going to decode some of the famous companies, famous brands that we all know, and understand their business model, their backbone. These are the 9 elements. We have some blank pieces of paper, so you need to do a little bit of drawing. We're going to have 3 examples, so 3 teams. So, can you split into 3 teams, please, like randomly? It doesn't relate to your design thinking things, it can be anybody. We're on to 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, so 4, 5, 5. Are you split?
Half here and the other half here.
Yeah, in 3 teams though.
3 teams.
In 3 teams. 5, 5 and 4. Can you come to the center to join another team? Come to the center to join them, because you will need to do a group exercise. And you will only need the pen. You don't need anything else. You can leave your things wherever. So you're a team, the 5 of you. Great. You're 4, so you are another team. Perfect. Great, okay. So, we're going to try this, right? Like, there's no pressure of doing an excellent business model or anything like that. We're just going to try and answer some of these questions for very well-known brands. So, would you like to, it's going to be a surprise which brand is going to be to which team. So, can you choose 1, 2, or 3? Number 1, 2, or 3? 3? 2. 2. You? 3. 3. And 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, let me give you these, first of all. Okay. So, keep one and pass it. Okay. Where did I leave it? Here. Okay. I'm gonna leave this on the back as you work, and you need to work quite fast. But anyhow, let's go and see which is gonna be the first one. From team number 1 is you, correct? Okay. This is a great one. Easy. Okay. Okay, why am I putting these advertisements? Because, each advertisement shows you exactly what the brand, what the specific brand wants to transmit. So it's going to help you in answering some of these questions. Okay. All right, so happy with this choice?
Why not?
You're not? Okay. So let's go to team number 2. You guys. What was number 2? Ah, yeah, okay.
Outside looking in, it's quite the dream. It's all that I can do.
Okay, rewarding taste buds. Starbucks. Okay. I hope you like Starbucks. Yeah. Okay. You have an experience of them as clients, so you can understand what they are about. Okay. And team number 3, another very, I don't know if you know this brand, to be honest, but.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays.
Cause no matter how far away you roam, when you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze,
Aplomb. Simple. All right. Okay. So the difficult thing now, the mission impossible that you're faced with now is that you need to do that in 10 minutes. Okay. So 10 minutes by clock. Yeah, you know 10 minutes, and then each team will have 3 minutes max to present your story about your brand. To present your brand. All right. Okay. So good luck. Yeah. We can still start. Who wants to start? Petroula wants to start. I saw that too. Come on. Team number 1. You are presenting Adidas, correct? Yes. Okay. Adidas in general, not Adidas Originals. The brand in general. Okay, yeah. Perfect. So, would you like to come up? Okay, let's give an applause for team number 1. And ready? No. Okay, shall I start the time? I am starting the time. For your 3 minutes. Perfect. Let's go. Are you okay?
I will help her. Why not?
Great. Anyone else that wants to come? No? Okay. So good luck.
We're gonna talk about Adidas. We thought about first the value proposition. We thought that Adidas could young people that they are look nice to them and they are comfortable. Long-lasting.
Durability.
Yeah, and also they have to be resistant.
Actually, it's gonna be like a lifestyle. It's a way to express yourself, to use shoes or actually clothes from Adidas.
Second, we thought about the channels.
Okay.
The cost
Next part is actually about
customers
customer experience. Actually, it's a young people.
from 12 to 30 years old. They can be athletes also. And parents who would like to buy
Some clothes from Adidas or shoes to
their
children.
like present.
Yeah.
Then we thought about channels, shops like local stores or e-shop or worldwide packaging. Or also on TV. And the customer relationship. Adidas can help with customers' life easier and comfortable.
We don't find something else that actually can be a relation between a customer and a company. So.
And then we have the revenue streams, can be set for festival offers. And then the cost structure, we have the create or the cost for the commercial and the transfer between the
Time, 10 seconds.
Okay. Can I finish for fast?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we have key resources. It's different factories that's located in some countries with a low payment. After we have key activities. Actually, it's a more sports event or Olympic TV games. That actually it's transmitted live. Key properties. Actually, it's different sports clubs, schools. Again, Olympic community. Actually, the athletes by themselves. And the cost structures are actually stable assets.
Thanks. Okay, we will think about investment and
Investment fund, yeah, okay.
Thanks very much. I think one of the points that you mentioned about the value proposition is very, very valid. Because if you think of Adidas, for example, versus Puma, which are both sports brands, Adidas has a very fashionable element to it, whereas Puma is like, I'm gonna go out and run, and that you will see also in their advertisement. Puma is more like, the active out and run, and Adidas is let's show that we're running. So It's another
And
approach.
Nike, actually, it's more investment in the football and the basket teams. So,
As well. Good. Okay, thank you very much. Second team?
Nestoras.
Nestoras. Would you like to come up? No? Okay. No problem. No problem. If you could stand up, that's a suggestion. Everybody could look at you and not your back. That's just a recommendation. I see.
Oh, you do it together.
Okay. I will hold this.
But stand up,
Costa, show yourself.
Come on.
Everybody needs to hear you, so standing or sitting, just make sure that you're heard. And you're presenting Starbucks. Okay, let's go. The time has started.
Okay, technical differences.
That's okay.
Hold on.
Pause. Okay. Nestor and who else is presenting? Kostis. Okay.
So, let's go
together, guys.
Don't be shy.
Okay, just have in mind that if you do it right, you might get 100K in funding.
So, the customer segment involves students, coffee enthusiasts, and intellectual people, as we say. Because that's the audience that Starbucks is appealing to, yes. Now, the value propositions are nice and cozy environment, best quality coffee, and good working environment. Okay. The revenue streams could be coffee and brand accessories. What else? Customer relationships, soothing music, good coffee, and nice environment. Yes. The key resources are the coffee shop and the bakery.
And then?
For the muffins. The bakery for the muffins. We couldn't come up with something better. The cost structure is coffee machines, transport, and coffee beans. Okay. The key partners are coffee producers, transporters, and bakers. I don't know, maybe they're baking it by themselves. They're active, okay. And finally the channels. Shops. We need more time in order to focus.
Of course, okay. Very, very good. Well done.
As we saw in the video, the first one is not the best one. We have to try more.
Exactly. Very well done. No, the shops and the cozy environment that you mentioned and re-mentioned is totally the key for Starbucks.
Yeah,
You're
that's why
100%
we
right.
focus on that.
That's why they spend so much money there.
Makes you feel like home, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I would add in the key resources is the people. You know, that's where they find the baristas with that they can communicate very well. They do a lot of marketing tricks, like how they will write your name, etc., in order to create that relationship with the customer. But yeah, the analysis was very good. Why do you think that someone would actually spend, €5 for a caramel macchiato to go to Starbucks, or 6 or 7, and not go to a student, as you said, and not go to another shop that would pay €3? I can answer that.
Studying. And with style, it's more cost efficient.
You spend more hours in a Starbucks coffee shop than
Yes.
You also have to wear Adidas and have a marketing. All of them together.
That's true.
Forget
Excellent. Very well done, Carl. Thank you very much. So, shall we welcome team number 3? Yes. Welcome.
I'm doing the holding.
Anyway, so we're here to talk about the Apple business model canvas. Is the time okay? So we're starting with the customer segments. Apple actually wants to apply to everyone, and as we saw on the advertisement, not only everyone but wherever, because the first person was in the mountains and then came to the city and used the products everywhere. The value proposition of Apple is that it wants to connect people and let them express themselves through their applications and media. Also, they want to have many devices that run their applications. And and also they want to have many applications to run those devices to help everyone express themselves in the way they want. The channels they do that in order to advertise their products and let them reach their final customers is from mouth to mouth, obviously, because when you see something, you like something, and you talk to the one that has it. And then through the social media that everyone from their customer database uses. And from TV advertisements for those maybe seniors that don't use social media. Where can we go? Okay, so revenue streams. Where will Apple get money? From some fees on the App Store. When you want to upload stuff, you have to pay a fee. Then they have many different products. For example, the iPhone, the MacBook, and many more. iPod, iPad. So it also counts on the fanboys, as we know, because when someone buys the first one, then he's going to buy the second one, and the third one, and everyone after that. So what are the customer relationships? Apple wants to be consistent. They want to deliver every year a new product. So they know that their customers will buy new product every year. As we said, this relies on fanboys. Anyway, so the key resources. Did I say that? No. The key resources for the Apple products is that they want them to be simple, so everyone can use it. Easy to use by everyone on their customer database, and also they rely on their displays, retina displays for key screens. That's a key resource for Apple products. Also, what are the key activities? What does Apple want to do every time to keep their customers? They want to maintain their design, which is something very good about Apple products, and also they want to deliver constantly new products. I have to run. Okay. The key partners are Samsung, LG, and Foxconn, which provide software and hardware. And the cost structure, where Apple will have to spend money, is on developers and employers, also maintenance for the hardware, and the stores, and the delivery costs to the final consumers.
Great. Well done. Any questions to them?
So why would you pay, same question like before, why would you pay $800 for an iPhone 6 or 7?
I can answer that, because
we can charge you with that.
Without knowing.
Because it's beautiful. I will say that.
Because it's
beautiful. It's the only thing that it does, from my point of view, because I know that other products can be a lot better, can do a lot more stuff, but Apple is beautiful.
It will change your life.
You'll change your life. You will be part of the cool group. What you said at the beginning, though, it's very interesting. The fact about including everybody, because at the beginning when Apple started, it was for the early adopters, for the hipsters, for the entrepreneurs, for the people that were rushing to get the new trends, the hottest thing in town. So what you mentioned at the beginning was very interesting. That's a change in the marketing and the approach.
Yeah, but not
Very
the
responsible.
price.
Not the price. For the price, you need to give a liver, a kidney, something like that, yeah, to get the products. Okay, thank you very much. Did you like it, the experience, the exercise? No. Very stressful.
One more time.
Sure. You can continue the discussion at home, if you want, or at your break, no problem. And there's multiple courses around it, business model canvas online. There's a course in Coursera, a free online course by an American university, I don't remember which one, where you can go through it and analyze it in detail if you want. So let's go to the conclusions of today. So it's a tool that helps you design, pitch, and run your business. It maps out the key elements for creating a feasible, innovative, sustainable, and scalable organization. It's always on data. It changes. If you remember also the video that we saw, they talked a lot about market trends and how that influence the product and the needs that it needs to cover. Always a business idea needs to cover a specific need. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of the needs of food and higher and learning and development, etc. It can be even the basic human needs, like feeling part of the group, love and affection and things like that. It needs to cover a specific need. And this is sort of what a relevant business idea is. Used by innovators and entrepreneurs globally, so have a look at that if you're interested in creating something on your own, or if you want to join a startup that's going to bring extra value to your CV. It is the beginning, so it is just a tool. Just because you have a business model doesn't mean you have a business. You still need to go outside and try it. And there is only one way to see if it actually works, by testing, by trying. Understanding how different business model works in the industry that you're interested in makes you also understand to see perhaps what your competitive advantage and differentiation. You don't want to do the things that someone else has already done. For example, if you want to create another Starbucks, then you need to find the extra missing thing, the missing thing, in order to create something different and compete with them. Otherwise, you will never get the percentage of the market share. Any questions? Now we're reaching the end. No? Okay. So thank you very much for everything, for having me here, for hosting me. It has been a pleasure. We'll be talking later on at the mentoring sessions. And we'll be talking by email or Skype if there is another need. So have a good time and Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy your holiday.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so thanks a lot, Petroula, for the great lecture. Before we finish, just a reminder, next Wednesday, as I said in the beginning of the course, we have two invited speakers, Maria Kakoulaki and Alexandros Christakis. These people are worldwide known for their work on democratic structured dialogue. And they will talk about a very interesting initiative that starts here in Heraklion that is called Dimoscopio and has the goal to promote bottom-up innovation. So the lecture will start at 11 o'clock, not at 10, 11 o'clock in this classroom. And guys, please come. And please also tell the other guys to come, or your friends. I think the lecture is open for everybody. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. Okay?